Yeah.
Like, there are certain verses that they'll bring up where they're like, oh, this is a bad thing. I'm like, well, the meaning that the context of the meaning that they're using for this word is actually different.
Right. I feel that too, for sure.
It's my turn.
Which is why I don't just trust my translation of the Bible at face value. I just like always make sure to go back to the Greek and make sure what I'm saying is like word for word what the Greek said.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, we can put these on you. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, I think that's super important too, like as Christians in general, just like making sure that we're being like, hey, listen, this is my interpretation, but you should also listen to other people's interpretations and then listen to God.
Yeah, like my grandfather, before he passed away, told my dad when he was younger, he said, don't just trust every word that comes out of my mouth face value. Whatever I say has to come from Scripture, and anything that I say that's not from Scripture is not biblical truth, and it's only my opinion.
Exactly. I love that. Everything I say is my biblical structure, my biblical. Yeah, what you said. No,
anything that comes out of my mouth that's not from Scripture is my opinion.
My opinion and not biblical truth. Yes.
Yeah. And if anything I say contradicts Scripture, you point it out.
Exactly. And I love that because even like my children growing up, if they have a deeper relationship with the Lord than I do, I want them to be like, hey, Mom, this is something you taught me that's wrong, you know? And I'm willing to learn from them because they're God's children just as much as I am.
Because it can benefit you, too. Like, you could be seeing something wrong, and they could point it out to you and be like, oh, you probably just saved me from eternal damnation. Like,
Exactly. I love that. Right here, right now, right? What's your name?
Oh, my name's Zach. You can call me Zach.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay. So, what do you have? Do you want an opinion on what me and CK were talking about, or on my topics?
Yeah, so I'm okay to do like God talk, or I'm okay to do pro-life. Cause I'm pro-choice and I'm an atheist, so either one of those.
Okay. Whatever you're up to, like I'm here for the conversation.
Yeah. So I guess I can do the pro-choice thing.
Okay.
So, I'm an antinatalist, so I think that like bringing a being into existence that has the potential to experience suffering is an immoral action. And I think since you can't consent to being pregnant, I value the mother's right to withdraw consent from being pregnant over the life experience of a fetus.
So, what makes you feel is a life before anything?
I think life begins at conception, but I don't think that a life worth living begins at conception.
Okay. So what makes a life worth living?
Yeah.
Also, I want to apologize ahead of time. I have 3 children in the background that are super loud.
Oh, it's totally okay. Like those are your kids. That's fine. I think that a life worth living has to have qualia and then some sort of like individual personhood or something.
oh, she's gone. I don't want to.
Sorry. I was texting. So you're talking about like sentimental life, right?
Yeah, sentience is like qualia, so sentience is good enough. Yeah. I don't like, for example, like sentience. You can say that something is sentient, but like qualia is like, I don't think it's like anything to be a fetus. I don't think it's like anything to be a rock.
So you're speaking of a being that has a future and dreams, etc., etc.
No, I'm speaking of a being who is like experiencing and like formulating like structures based on those experiences or something.
So, like, self-awareness?
Yeah, but I wouldn't not to the point where like they need to know that they're like experiencing or something. Just specifically in utero.
So just aware of things around you.
Yeah, just like some kind of subjective experience.
Do you believe it's a parasite or a baby?
I believe it's a baby, and I don't really like the like parasite argument or the clump of cells argument because a lot of people that have miscarriages, huh?
I said thank you.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I'm pro-choice. I'm not pro like dehumanizing people who like have miscarriages, and then you go, it's just a clump of cells. It's like if you're trying to reach people, that's not really a good way to do it.
You do not know how many times have people come up. It's a parasite. It's a clump of cells. It's not human. It's not alive. It's not living until it's born.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe it's a parasite. I believe it's a baby.
Yeah. No, I think it's a baby too. I think life begins at conception, but I would say that I don't think a life worth living begins at conception.
DK, you
And
know
part of
how I can mute myself as the host?
Yeah, you gotta go to your settings at the bottom, and it should say mute yourself or mute host or whatever, and then you can mute yourself.
yeah. So I don't think I think life begins at conception, but I don't think that a life worth living begins at conception. And part of my argument is that all humans don't have equal value in all contexts.
Yeah, you don't give you believe scientifically, right? Life begins at conception, but you don't give it any moral consideration for life until a certain point.
Yeah. I don't know what that point is, but I know that a 30-year-old has more sentience than a like third trimester baby or second, like something like that. I don't know where the beginning point is, but to be clear, I am arguing for the 98%. Like I think that like the mother's right to withdraw consent is worth more.
Wait, are you so you're saying because she can't afford it, it's okay for her to eliminate a baby?
He agrees
Nah,
with the 98%
even
in any stance, which would mean can't afford it, don't want it, baby daddy left, all those.
Oh no, I'm saying I am arguing for those 98% because I'm making an even stronger
I know,
claim than
that's
what
I
King
said.
Richard said. Yeah, if she can't afford it, and even if she just doesn't want it.
Yeah,
So
that's what I said. I said you agree with that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I never said you disagree with that or anything.
So you just eliminate a human being that might have a future because you can't afford it. There's so many
Well,
there's
that
so many ways and process you can do that.
yeah, but I mean, from your perspective, right? But from my perspective, you're just equivocating on human being there. You're not using human being the same way I would use it.
What are you talking about? It's a human being.
Right, I understand that you think like a sperm and an egg is a human being that has value. I don't think that a sperm and egg is a human being worth value. I think it is a life or a human being.
I mean, do you acknowledge it as a human being at least?
Yeah, I would say that like technically it is a human being, but not one whose value is worth more than the withdrawing of consent of the mother.
Can we give Bonnie a option to talk for a moment?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good for me.
Oh, good. So, I just joined in, but let me get this straight. Right here, you're saying that when is a life of value?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the starting point is, but I don't think I have to know that like if I'm given two cases, I can say that one is like more sentient than the other or something.
Okay, sentient is one thing, but we're talking about like brain waves and heartbeats. That doesn't have value to you?
It does have value, but not more value than the mother's right to withdraw consent from being pregnant.
Right, but you understand like pregnancy is 9 months versus an entire lifetime, which is the average of like 75 years that you're taking.
Which is the average of 70.
I'm a comment, bitch, motherfucker, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but my whole the other like foundation of my argument is that I think that bringing a being into existence that has the ability to experience suffering is an immoral action.
We all experience suffering, dude.
But that's just to agree with me that if somebody thinks that a being is going to experience suffering, it's okay for them to think that it's immoral to bring that being into existence.
But why should we play God?
I mean, I don't know what you mean by play God there.
Meaning, how do you know what your life's gonna be like? Can you just like let it be?
Yeah, I think that it's pretty safe to say that even if somebody lives the best possible life, they're going to experience suffering. And if somebody thinks that that's immoral, I think that her right to withdraw consent from being pregnant is worth more than the experience of something that doesn't have an experience.
So, like, by that token, you're saying that why should we treat cancer? Why do we have chemotherapy? Why are we playing God?
That's not
Why
true.
do we have antibiotics for bacterial infections? Why are we playing God?
Are you attacking me or King Richard?
Well, you just said that. You just said that.
No,
No,
King Richard said I was playing God.
Oh. Yeah, King Richard said you were playing God by that. Exactly. So, by his own token, I'm saying if that's playing God, then by that very statement, so is chemotherapy.
Oh, okay,
So
I
is
understand.
antibiotics.
I
Like,
are you
that's
are you
playing
on you're on
God.
my side? That's what you're saying?
I for sure on your side.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, King Richard. Why are you playing God by treating people that God gives cancer? It's part of His plan. I'm just
Why
kidding.
are we
I'm just
making
kidding.
exceptions to play God?
real quick, y'all. Abby, we haven't gotten anybody's ages yet.
30.
Yeah, I'm gonna. CK, you're a mod. I'm gonna make Bonnie a mod as well. What did you say, CK?
We haven't checked anyone's ages yet.
Oh yes. Okay. I already know Bonnie. I already know Enrique and Elena. How old are you?
You said she was
30.
30.
30. Okay. Yeah. I know everyone else's ages. Bonnie, I'm gonna make you a mod. Is that all right?
Of course, darling.
So do you guys understand like the three foundations to my argument, like the antinatalism, right? That all humans' life don't have the same value in all contexts, right? This statement can sound repulsive at first, but it can be used for bad actions and good actions, right? Like we can say that like the mustache man didn't think that all lives were worth value, but we can also say that index to some goal. Let's say that your goal was to win a drag race. You wouldn't say that Danica Patrick and a kindergartner have the same value, or if your goal was to win a race, you wouldn't say that Usain Bolt and a cancer patient have the same value. So
Right here. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm trying to add some mods here quick. I know we all have different views from you, but I would like to have one moderator that has different views. Can I make you a mod?
sure, yeah, I've never been a mob before, but yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, I think most of my panel is probably going to be very right-winged and pro-life, but I do want to have a pro-choice moderator. So
Cool. I'm honored.
Hey, Remtech.
okay, thank you.
Hello.
Rimcheck, how old are you?
I'm 34. Hello?
Okay. Yep. You guys can continue your
Can you hear
conversation.
me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you
you.
just fine. Your quality's good.
What I meant by playing God was like, like, why don't you just have the baby and like, cause you're saying like, oh, their life is gonna be suffering. Like,
I am actually going out of my way to not have kids now because I have. There's a reason for that. No, because I've already had 2 children and I had them through.
Everybody suffers.
Yeah, everybody does suffer. That's part of life.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is that I'm going out of my way to not have children, even though I'm married and I've been with my husband for 13 years. We have 2 beautiful kids, but I had to have a C-section for the first one because I wasn't dilating, and I had to have a C-section for the second one for the same reason. And they cap you out. You're only allowed to have 3 C-sections, right?
Okay.
And I was on bed rest for 2 months with my second one. So the odds of me having complications again, if I did want to have 4 kids originally, but like that's not happening now because God forbid something did happen to me. Nobody's going to save me. Versus if my dog had a complication, I could take my dog to the vet and they would prioritize my dog's life.
So, Alina, you're saying that you're taking precautions and you're being careful not to get pregnant, right?
I mean, that's an uncharitable way to put it.
I mean,
but
I'm
yeah.
having sex with my husband, if that's what you mean. I'm not going to stop having sex with my husband. That's crazy.
Didn't you just say you're taking precautions so you weren't going to get pregnant again?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, that's great. And that's
But
what...
that's not like it's foolproof.
No, it's not foolproof.
No,
but
the
there's
only
a
way
lot of
to not
women
get
out
pregnant
there.
is to not have sex. But then we
You're
see
saying-
rape literally all the time.
If you got pregnant again, you would AB.
And that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think we should. I also don't think it's a good idea, just conversationally, to involve any person's personal choice. We should talk about examples that aren't in the room.
Oh, okay. Well, the AB treatment is the same treatment required for miscarriages. 1/3 of pregnancies result in a miscarriage. Most of the time, people have miscarriages before they even get their period, so they don't know about it.
Oh, I was. I think I was
women-
scolding King Richard for asking you about your personal choice.
Well, she was the one that brought up her personal life, so we can ask questions about her personal choice, right?
I mean, if you're gonna ask somebody if they're gonna murder a baby in you guys' eyes, I just think that's pretty personal.
She brought up her life, dude. I mean, can she talk for herself? That's weird.
Well, after I had my second kid, I did get pregnant again, and at 11 weeks, I went for a checkup, and the fetus had not developed, and I did have to take a pill because it wasn't flushing itself. And if you leave it, you could get an infection or sepsis and die. And my life is important. As a mom, I want to be here for my kids. So
No, if you're taking a pill, you are choosing to get an abortion.
sure am.
No. Wait. Abby. The baby was not alive. The fetal tissue did not pass. She needed to take the second pill.
Right, but medically, it's the same thing, though.
It's coded differently.
Actually, Abby, that happened to me too. So what she's saying is completely 100% accurate.
It's really common, and it's not talked about. Our sex ed in our.
Are you guys talking about a DNC?
Yeah, we're not denying that
No, I'm not talking
miscarriage
about
happens.
pregnancy, but the medication. If the medication doesn't work, or if there's other reasons, like sometimes they want to do a DNC just because there's tissue left behind.
Yeah, we're not denying that miscarriage happens and that you need care for that, right?
Right, but when you put a federal ban on something like that, it prevents those people that are having that from getting care. Which is
it does not.
This misinformation is ridiculous.
That's not misinformation. That is
Yeah, so can I point this out? So there's no law in any state that will deny you to have a miscarriage care. There's no law. You pull me up one law that tells you.
Sorry, how many women died in Georgia before they shut down that team that counts them?
3 that I know about for sure.
Like, what are you talking about?
And it was because
somebody almost died in California because of it. A mom, she was pregnant with twins.
I don't want Abby's life to go. Like people say, unalive.
I have a question for the pro-lifers.
Can you give me any case
Unalive, schmurder, and
outside of before Roe fell and anything that was not considered medical malpractice that says that these people were allowed to deny them miscarriage care?
it doesn't exist, and it's the pill that's actually causing this. That's what happened to me. I'm not going to go into detail, but I was told it was only going to be small symptoms, and it was definitely not small symptoms. And if I didn't get checked out, I would have been on that list too.
Yeah, and they say that small symptoms about almost everything that they do in women's health care.
I have a question for you, Elena. Okay, so this is just one example. Do you think that if you were to give me, this is just an example, if you were to pregnant and you couldn't afford it, or not you, but like in general, a woman, do you think it's okay for that woman to have an AB?
Yeah, I do. But also, I think that if you put more welfare programs out there and more government assistance for families or people that were struggling, less people would choose to have ABs. If we had a comprehensible child care system in America, like other developed nations do, we would have more people having babies.
Oh yeah, I'm not denying
You guys, host talking quickly. I have all of my mods in the chat right now. I just want you guys to know who you are. So Richard, CK, Bonnie, right here, and Enrique. You guys are my mods. So be kind to each other. I know right here has different views than the rest of you, but you're going to be kind to him regardless. Right? Yes?
Thank you.
As long as the stuff doesn't cross the line, but yeah. As long as it doesn't cross the
Can
line.
all of my mods agree you're going to be kind to him because he's a mod?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So yeah, I just want you guys to know who you are. I'm not going to add any more mods at all. So, I'm assuming Enrique or Richard, probably Bonnie and CK. I don't know about you right here, how often you're on, but you guys will probably all be in most of my lives. But yeah, I just want to make sure you guys are respectful to each other. Right here has different views from us, and we are going to be super, super respectful. I need to have a mod in my chat that has different views because it's important that we respect each other. So we're going to do that, right, guys? Yes, thank you. Okay, you can continue your conversation.
Yeah, I have a question for
Agreed.
pro-lifers
Yeah, go ahead.
on the panel. Do you guys think, because I like left debate spaces for a while, and then when I came back, there's like there's abolitionists with it, which is no exceptions. Pro-life seems to have taken on what I thought pro-choice was, which is there are some exceptions, and then pro-choice is like willy-nilly. Are you guys like do all of you guys think that there's no exception?
So for me personally, I am an abolitionist, but I do know that that is case to case. I understand what you're saying. Like pro-choice has taken on, or pro-life has taken on what pro-choice was. Pro-choice has seemed to be like abortion can be used as a form of birth control. Unfortunately,
It's almost $1,000.
not in my state, but
This might be controversial. This might be controversial, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, yes, it's horrible. Rapists should go up. You should every rapist, I think, should be out there, and just people should go like you know, they should get their things cut off. I think, but when it comes to like the baby, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's still a miracle. There's still a miracle, and I think that it's not their fault.
But you do realize that children that are 8 and 9 years old are getting their periods, which means that they can
But
get
I'm not
pregnant.
talking about the kids. I'm not talking about the kids. It's horrible with the kids. I'm talking about adults who get raped. I'm not talking about the kids. The kids is a different story. I'm talking about adults who get raped.
So King Richard, it seemed like earlier you were saying that like
It's horrible.
everything that lives can suffer. But do you understand how, from like my point of view, that's just to concede that somebody who's an antinatalist, if you say, why get that procedure done? Why not just have the baby and give it up? If they think that bringing a being into existence that can suffer is immoral, I think that nobody should be able to force them to do an immoral thing.
Nobody's forcing them to get pregnant, though. That's the thing.
And Bill, some people are forcing them to get pregnant, though.
And even if they're not
How
forcing them
many
to get
cases are they
pregnant,
being
I think they
forced
should be
to
able
get
to
pregnant?
withdraw
Like
consent.
over 1,000
Oh,
a year.
Out of millions and millions and millions and millions of people. Oh, 1,000. That's
that we
very-
know of.
No. I need to address this right now. You cannot force a biological process to happen.
Yeah, but you can,
Okay, well,
because
you
you
can
can't.
force your
you should,
genitals inside a girl or a woman, and
But
you can
cannot.
ejaculate and you can get them pregnant.
that's
Yeah.
not force.
Yeah.
That's
you
you're
can
forcing your semen inside somebody. You're going to tell me that's not forcing a pregnancy?
Elena,
Yes,
you
but
can
always
force your.
It takes two
putting
to
a thing
tango.
inside someone
Okay,
is
can
not
you-
also getting them
Oh
pregnant.
my gosh, I can't even talk. You can force yourself onto someone and have intercourse with them, but you cannot physically force a biological process to
I
happen
see.
or not to happen.
Because that's God's will, right?
no,
No, it's just scientific
Pretty much,
fact.
I mean,
Look.
if you want to, but that
It's scientific
you
fact.
can't force a female to get pregnant even if you ejaculate inside of them.
It's scientific fact. You can't force your egg to go down out of your.
I just feel like you are very statistically more likely to get pregnant if
So
somebody
in this
ejaculates inside
situation-
you. Can we all agree that that's a fact?
yeah.
Okay, but it's not force.
It very much is, though.
Yep, you guys are doing
No,
a
you're
weird
not
semantic
forcing-
thing.
You're forcing your sperm
Elena, though,
to swim
Are
up a
you not-
canal.
are you participating too? Right?
And not
You
if
are-
you're being graped. No,
Okay,
you're
I'm not
not.
talking
That's
about
what
grape.
I'm saying.
I'm not talking about grape. So
Right, but when you put bans on stuff like that, it limits those people,
but
right?
you just said
And
it's force when it's not grape too.
No, I didn't.
Hey, but I think
said when you
it's
force
obvious.
somebody's legs open
I
and
think
force yourself inside them is what I said specifically.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not denying
but
that you
not-
can force yourself inside of a person. What we're denying is the fact that you can force a
Guarantee
pregnancy to
that it'll
happen.
be
You can't do
leading
that.
to the pregnancy.
It's biologically impossible to force a pregnancy to happen.
Yeah, but it's also biologically impossible to consent to being pregnant.
Okay, can I talk for a second,
Very
you guys?
valid point.
You guys, host speaking for a second. Can I say something? So when a woman is graped, can we make sure we're using that word? Your body is generally not relaxed, and in order to get pregnant, you have to generally have a very relaxed body.
That is not true at all.
I'm not saying it's 100% true, but it's mostly true.
It's not mostly true. It's a myth. It's an old wives' tale.
Yeah, it's also like a patriarchal thing to where it like makes sympathizers and false claim proclaimers. They'll use like the level of arousal of the victim in court, and I think that's pretty egregiously disgusting. But just to be clear, I'm making the case that even if they just wanna, they can do it. Which is probably disgusting to you guys.
We are not at all sympathizing with anybody that wants to just do it because they can do it. I'm just giving the facts of how the female body reacts, and regardless, those
But that's not
situations
how the female
do
body
happen.
reacts according to science. Right? Women used to sit in circles, and they used to have their legs up, like thinking that it would drip down faster or some crazy thing like that. That's not how it works.
Okay, so according to
that's a
science,
myth. According to science, that's been debunked like 30 years ago.
So according to science, women that are forcefully graped, they are uncomfortable. But we have to take into consideration that grape comes in a lot of different forms. It can come from us
comfortability
saying,
has absolutely nothing to do with you getting pregnant.
right. So we can take into consideration that what science says is that grape comes in a lot of different forms, whether it be, for example, us having a partner and they've continued to do so after we've said no. And I'm sorry, Elena, I just needed to mute you for a minute. I'll unmute you when I'm done talking. I know you're very hearted about this, and I will let you have your space to speak. I'm not trying to just shut you up, but we have to take into consideration that grape nowadays, compared to what studies showed us back then, is married women that are saying yes to their husbands because they feel like they have to do so, even though they feel like they shouldn't have to, and they're going to be relaxed because it's their husbands. Or just a female in general that is in a situation where she feels super comfortable with the man and feels like she should have to say yes. That's the biggest thing. You guys, both of you. Sorry. It's a lot of times women that are sleeping at a man's house and they feel like they should just say yes because she spent the entire night with them. So why should she say no? But she didn't want to say yes. Okay, you guys, I think as women in a whole, we need to understand that is a situation that we are not. A consensual yes is a consensual yes. But a yes with a no underlining is still a no. And that's the biggest thing, that when those statistics come into play, Elena, that you're talking about, the rarity of it, and I understand where you're coming from. I'm specifically talking about these statistics when it is a female that is forced under pressure, under pain, under no circumstances that could possibly make her feel comfortable. So, you guys, as women, all of the female in here, I just want you guys to know that no is a full and complete answer. And even if it's someone that you felt was comfortable or thought you were comfortable with, whether it's your husband or your boyfriend or whatever, that's still great. And that's where our statistics are coming from. And we have to speak up about it so that we can have more secure and positive statistics coming from these situations, because right now what we're seeing is a very mixed result. And for us to really, really, really know what's going on, we need to know what we are capable of as women in home. So, Elena, yes, I do see where you're coming from. As far as saying your body doesn't have to be relaxed, all those things. But from the statistics, I'm sorry, I have a speech impediment apparently. Thank you, Zane. My 10-year-old is correcting me. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, okay. What I'm reading from and what studies show in those cases where I'm talking about being forced under your will, held against everything beyond. That's what I'm talking about as far as what I'm saying. And Elena, what you're talking about, I think, is just women that are really, really scared and afraid to stand up for themselves. And it's unfortunate that that has to be a thing, but it is a thing. So, anyways, I'm gonna unmute you.
That's why a big part of my foundation is I think that at any point, even if you've started consensual acts with another adult, right, you should be able to withdraw consent, and that should be respected. Just like you should be able to withdraw consent from being pregnant if you don't want to be pregnant and you think it's an immoral act.
No. Sex and
No, yeah, I do think that, though.
murdering are two different things.
I agree, Bonnie.
Yeah, I know,
I
but
just
you
think
guys
that
you
if
guys
you're
are saying
going
it's
to
murder.
force somebody to have a baby that doesn't want to have a baby, you're just going to raise the level of child abuse in our country, which is already astronomical.
So if they have
Elena, do you want to have a baby right now?
Be an abuser?
Huh?
Elena, do you want to have a baby right now?
No.
Okay, so if you had a baby, would you abuse them?
I don't think I'm a good example for this.
Does anyone know the cabin in the woods?
Yep.
Not on drugs, and I'm not
Like the
abusive.
God movie?
CK, you know cabin in the woods?
Yes, I do.
Okay, CK, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You are in the middle of the woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are you pregnant?
Oh, the breastfeeding
physically
thing?
Pregnant?
Yeah, in the cabin in the woods scenario, I had a hard time at work. I decided to rent my friend's cabin out in the middle of the woods for like 2 months, right?
Yeah.
I go up there, bring up enough food for me to stay up there. It turns out I'm snowed in.
Snowed in, and you're pregnant, and you didn't know it.
And I find out after taking a shower that I was perfectly pregnant, and a baby just popped out.
Yeah, so CK, what are you going to do? Are you going to let that baby sit there and die, or are you going to breastfeed that baby?
Yeah, so it would be my obligation, not only as a parent in this moment, even if I didn't want the baby, to keep this child alive, even though it might invade.
I understand that's your obligation. However, not everybody thinks that way, and we have a serious problem with that in our country, right?
That
People
is
are.
Elena, if you have this baby in the middle of the woods and you cannot give them food other than breast milk from your own body, what is your obligation?
Where are you going to get the nutrients to make the breast milk?
Actually,
Eventually, if you're snowed in, eventually you're going to get so hungry you're going to eat that baby.
Yeah, but
You know
Elena,
what's
that's just not
actually
engaging in the
the
hypothetical.
Did you
Yeah.
not hear the hypothetical?
When you eat the baby,
Did you not
Does
hear
that
the
come out of your
hypothetical I
mouth?
just said?
What, that you
Come out of
eat
your
baby?
mouth.
I said this chick earlier. I said I got snowed in, but I brought the food that I needed for 2 months. So no, I would not be eating this baby.
were you serious just now, or were you just trying to like get some rage reactions?
So, look, to engage in that hypothetical from my point of view, right? I think that like a baby, a born human, right? Like has
It's not a pump of cells.
yeah, and it's like
A viable child.
to impose your will on someone else's will, I think is wrong, right? I think that if the person doesn't try to keep that person alive, I think they should be legally held responsible. But that is different than ABs, which is what we're talking about.
Can you tell me why that's different?
Yeah, because the person is like an individual human.
Anymore?
Not a parasite ever.
Yeah, so Elena, I just want to let you know she wasn't talking to you. She was talking to right here. So if you could,
Yeah. So right.
that would be
Well,
great.
that's the difference. The difference is one is a parasite, literally, because it lives off of
Can
your
you give me a
nutrients and your
definition of a
oxygen.
parasite, please?
And the other one, do you not know what a parasite is?
Well, obviously, if you know it so much, you should give me the definition, right?
You have kids.
A parasite lives off of a host, lives off of their nutrients and their oxygen.
But you're not.
That is what a parasite is,
Okay, but-
right?
no,
So
wait.
from a very basic standpoint, a fetus is a parasite until it is viable and it is born into this world,
Yeah, so
and
I'm
it is
actually
no
gonna
longer
give you-
dependent on its umbilical cord in order to get the things it needs.
Okay, so
A parasite is a non-humanoid organism that is feeding off of a host.
I
Right.
love it whenever people make the parasite crap up because that is literally probably the worst fucking argument to stand on.
Not really, because if you took it out of your body and left it out, it would die.
Listening to you talk, please be quiet and let me fucking speak. Because I'm not gonna sit here and scream over you because I'm not a fucking child. Anyways,
You sound like one.
parasite. Oh, I'm so sorry. Shut the hell up.
Introduce their age.
Sweetheart, trust me, I'm old enough. Anyways, a parasite is not human. A fetus, what y'all like to call this little parasite or this fetus or the baby, which is what I like to call it, has human DNA. A parasite does not have human DNA. The
Does the same thing, right?
The DNA of this baby is a combination of mother and father that creates its own DNA. A parasite does not have DNA.
I'm sorry, you guys. I just need to ask Rimcheck and Maddie, how old are you guys?
I'm 24, boo.
Okay, 24. And Rimcheck?
I'm 34. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, you asked me that earlier.
Yeah, he said he's like 34,
I got it. I said I'm 34.
Okay. All right, Maddie, go ahead, babes.
And not only that, I wanted to point out that
Hello?
We can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you. We can hear you, Ryan. We can hear you. Not only that, I wanted to point out it definitely does not fall under the definition of a parasite because your definition is not what the definition of parasite really is. It's an organism that lives off or on another organism of another species, and obviously this baby is a human, so it's not a different species than its host. And it's also deriving nutrients at the other's expense and not giving any nutrients back to its mother when this baby actually gives back stem cells and a couple other things back to its mother. So no, it definitely wouldn't be under the definition of a parasite.
So just to play middle,
Fundamentally, it does the same thing.
just to play middle ground here. I said earlier, right, that I don't make the parasite argument and I don't make the clump of cells argument. But when people say parasite, they're not making a univocal claim, right? They're making an analogous claim. So they're saying that like a baby in utero is going to have some property set that is shared with a parasite, which is the non-human definition that you guys are using.
We could say it has
You guys, can we pause for a
but
second?
not that it is one.
Can we pause for a second, Maddie? I do want to hear your point. You're gonna stay on the panel, but Rimcheck has been here for quite a bit, and we have not heard him speak. So can we speak? And right here, you are gonna be on his side, I think, because he is, I'm assuming, pro-choice. And then CK and Maddie, you guys want to be on the other side of the debate?
Oh yeah, man. I'm definitely pro-life, by the way.
Maddie, you're
Yeah,
still there, right?
we know. So Maddie and CK, you want to debate with Wright and Rimcheck. We're going to be respectful, you guys. Wright is one of my mods and CK is one of my mods. So, sound good? Maddie,
I'll be straight up. I'm not gonna do the whole parasite argument because the parasite argument is literally just dehumanizing babies. And
that's why we're moving on from it. We're moving on from it.
Yeah, I apologize. I was making my daughter's bottle. I didn't.
No, I'm just saying. I'm gonna put two of my mods up against each other with two guests. So right here and CK are my mods, and they're on opposite sides. And then Rimcheck, you are pro-choice, right?
Yes, I am pro-choice.
Okay, so Rip check, and then Maddie, you are pro-life.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you guys can go ahead and discuss, and then Wright and CK, can you guys just make sure that they are not going beyond what needs to be done?
At each other's throats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Go ahead, you two guys talk.
So why do y'all like why do y'all like unaliving babies? Well, nobody else was getting into it, so I just had to break the ice a little bit.
Okay, we're okay. Okay, let's take it a little slow. Let's give Rimcheck a space to speak because he has not at all. So let's let him talk. Maddie, listen, we love you, girl.
Sorry.
We love you, but back it up a little
Just trying
bit.
to start the conversation.
I know. Rimcheck, can you talk?
I was gonna say like.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say real quick because like she kind of came in hot with that one. She came in hot
No,
with that.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I have a mod that is on both of your sides, so you guys can go ahead and talk and debate, and you're gonna have someone.
With that one.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna have someone.
I apologize. Yeah, I'm a really straightforward, to the point person. Nobody was really talking, so I was like, okay. So why do you like unaliving babies?
No.
Okay.
So check. You know what? I have a mod that's gonna be on your side, and then we all have multiple mods. Maddie, multiple mods on your side, but CK is gonna kind of make sure that you're not going off on the radar.
Mom, show them me. Show me to them.
The fuck? Why is this giving me a puzzle?
Mom.
But yeah,
To see if you're active or not, you have to pass the personal filter Sorry, we're not trying to interrupt you. She was wondering why there was a puzzle on her screen, and it's to see if you're still active, so that because if
Yeah,
you
I
don't
got
do
that.
the
I
puzzle,
got it.
then it'll turn the live off like automatically.
So what? Yeah, I got it. So, room check. You and Maddie, you both have a mod that's gonna kind of make sure you're not being a
Guardian
bunch of
angel.
guardian angels for your sides, both of you, and you guys can debate between each other.
Silat's here. I gotta run.
Yeah, and once you start dying, they'll lift you up and.
So, room check. You can start. Maddie, we love you, babes, but be quiet for a second. let him talk first.
Okay. Go ahead,
Yeah, I was saying, I would definitely know pro-choice is the fact, like, is, if there is, if woman is great, like, okay, I'm gonna put this, like, I don't really, yeah, I lost my train of thought.
You're fine. Everybody has brain farts all the time.
Hey, Kira, do you want to give him some topics you can start off on?
Not trying to put you in a spotlight or anything, but like anything that you feel like talking about.
Right here. What's your name?
My name's Zach. You guys can call me Zach.
Okay, Zach, can you give Rimcheck some topics he can go off on?
Yeah. So the what the approach I use, Rimcheck, is, well, I'm an antinatalist, so. And I think that if pregnant women were informed of what antinatalism is, they might make this choice. But I think that bringing a life into existence without its consent is an immoral action. And I think that you should be able to withdraw consent from a biological process that it's impossible for you to consent to in the first place. And even if they just to be crazy. But I sincerely do believe that. I'm just saying it sounds crazy to the others.
Yeah, like that's his own opinion. If you want to go off your opinion as to why you think women should do this, just like give us like a reason, like name a few things, like they should do this because of this scenario or this scenario. Like don't go too in depth in it, so we can Maddie can like get your points and like address them and like talk with them about it with you, so that way she don't lose anything you're trying to say.
I like to dig in people's brains, understand why they think the way they do. I see you laughing, Abby. I see you giggling and.
I'm sorry, you guys. This is what I'm looking at. You guys want to see what I'm looking at right now? Hold on.
We owe Ryan like 10 minutes of uninterrupted speech. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Well, I
it went
think
with
the
you.
reason might be because Rhyme has
I was just saying.
has low Wi-Fi bars,
Yeah, I
and we're
see
not
that.
sure if we can hear him.
Oh, you gotta come behind me. Right here.
Rhyme, what do you think that pro-choice is the correct stance? You know, do you have an intuition about it? Do you have a feeling about it? Do you have some data about it? I agree with you. I just want to help nudge you into the
And I was
conversation.
gonna say that I don't
Zach
think
is
that
like
if
your
there's,
guardian
you know,
angel
if
in
you know
this
there's
argument.
a middle school or elementary school girl like gets raped, she and because pregnant, I don't think that she should be forced to go along with said pregnancy.
Okay, so there's one. Do you have any other?
CK, let Maddie talk.
Yeah, like I'm just trying to help him like get his points
Yeah,
across.
I know.
That way he
I
can,
feel you.
like,
I feel you.
address them because we've only gotten 1 point so far.
Yeah, I feel you.
Also, if there's if woman's pregnant, there's complications, whether basically what's gonna happen is basically in the way this country is going.
Okay.
They're just saying even if the woman has complications, either the choice of whether there's an AB or
Okay.
they say like, okay, the mom is not. It's not to say
So
you're not gonna make it to this pregnancy.
okay, so I'm just gonna name out a few things.
Whether it's either her or the baby.
Yeah, I'm just gonna name out a few scenarios, and you tell me yes or no if you think they should get an abortion. Okay? That way we can like go through it real quick, and then you can like have your conversation with Maddie. Okay? Is that sound good to you?
Okay, I'm listening.
So you said minor grape and medical scenarios, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what about graping of adults?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely pro-choice for that.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely pro-choice for that.
Inchmest, Sweet Home Alabama.
I would definitely pro-choice for that because the fact there is a high statistic. There is definitely a percentage of said child having health issues.
Okay. What's another one? She doesn't have enough money to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can give it to you if you want me to, CK.
You're good. If I miss anything, you can point it out, and he can say yes or no to it.
Let's say I want to have hot girl summer, but I'm 6 months pregnant. Do you think I should abort my baby because I want to have hot girl summer?
Maddie, I know you have a whipping tongue, and I agree with you, girlie, but can you just be a little bit light on him?
Sorry.
I mean that is a scenario, just not one
No,
minute.
I agree.
I was asking in the comment section if he's like newer to the debate thing, because like I go like full in all out.
I think he is, and that's what I'm saying. Like Maddie, I agree with you, girlie, but like, just
Yeah.
I'm a fast talker. I'll slow it down.
So just because she don't want it,
I mean,
should that be an excuse to have one?
I don't know what you guys are complaining about. Rhyme is cooking you guys. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
like we're
okay,
just
Zach.
asking him where he stands on it. So
No, I was just messing around.
Yeah, he's joking. He knows that's his baby daddy baby.
But yeah, just because they don't want it, should that be a reason to?
No, that one I definitely haven't given that much. I would definitely say kind of like
Iffy about it?
Yeah, I'm enough of that. I'm kind of iffy about that because I like the fact that you just going around, wronging people and not thinking about it, and it's kind of like, well, so when it happens kind of thing, and that's I was to say that is definitely dangerous. That you don't know who has what.
Yeah.
What about
And you pay, you wake up one morning, you get the burn.
what about if they can't afford it?
Wait, did I miss it, or did he just swallow the ammunition on the if they just want it case?
Yeah, he said if they just want it.
I think then I think any other example would just be like, you know, right? Because
Well, I'm going to get more specific in like two of them after this one, but just like if they're like if they don't have enough money.
Ryan, we're not trying to like
that
make
one-
joke of you or anything. We're really trying to just help you learn, and that's it. Like we're all kind of, I think, just we've had these debates a lot of times, so it's kind of like we're all goofing off with each other and have a different respect. So
Yeah, after this, I have two more scenarios, and then you can go ahead and talk with Maddie. But do you agree with them having the right to do it or the privilege to do it when they can't afford it? I don't know if he's responding to me immediately because he's got like bad Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I was kind of going in and out of there, so I didn't hear everything that was said. It was literally going in and out.
Financial reasons, is that a reason to financial troubles? Is that a reason?
Honestly, that is a very good question. In fact,
Ryan,
honestly,
Ryan, I'm gonna drop you. Ryan, I'm gonna drop you just because I'm pretty sure you're either smoked a little bit of greens or something.
Or his Wi-Fi is just terrible.
Or your Wi-Fi is terrible, but you should definitely ask Zach.
Honestly, no. Actually, no. I am sober. When I say something, who says actually, I am sober. Like I work security, so yeah, I literally got off of work a couple hours ago, so I am sober.
He's probably just tired.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you go to bed? You can add Zach. He's one of our mods here, and you can talk to him for advice. Okay, Zach, does that sound good?
it sounds great.
Oh, no. One of the other mods.
Sillet Water, you said you were on Zach's side. Can we hear your side, your opinion?
I'm pro-life.
Yeah.
I'm actually an abolitionist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
wait. Who said it? In this guy. There's someone. Can anyone see who it was? What do you need?
We were talking earlier. I had a debate with this guy earlier.
Do you guys want to debate right now?
We did. You ran, bro.
Yeah, look, man. I can't do anything but cower under the force of your strong argument.
Yeah, I know it happens a lot.
What'd you say, Enrique?
I said it was him and Maddie going off, but CK was helping him out.
Oh no, I'm talking about like several hours ago. I was in the mall shopping for some stuff, and I was defending the right to unalive fetuses at the same time. Yeah.
I was only referring to.
I was multitasking.
So do you guys want to finish your debate right now?
Yeah, sure.
All right, go for it.
Yeah. So just to relay out my foundations, I think that there are people, and I'm one of them, that think that bringing a being into existence that has the ability to experience suffering is an immoral action. I don't think you should be able to force somebody to do an immoral action. And I think that the mother's wants and right to withdraw consent from pregnancy are more valuable than an experienceless being's experiences.
Mm-hmm. So you said the problem I have with that wording is you said a being that can experience suffering, and we discussed this earlier. Like we all experience suffering, so we could apply that to anybody. In order to remain logically consistent, you'd have to apply that to all 9 months, even people outside of the womb.
No.
And so I think I had you narrowed down to more of a personhood stance. You believe at a certain point it becomes a personhood, therefore it's no longer permissible. But prior to that point, you don't believe it has value, right? So what is your cutoff again? Sentience?
Yeah, sentience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So, why does sentience matter in regards to the right to life?
Because if you don't have sentience, then you don't experience being alive.
That's true. You don't experience it, but you're still alive. So I don't really understand why you need to experience it. I would say just by the fact that you are alive, you would be entitled. I think that you're entitled to all your human rights from the moment you begin to the moment you end. And so you can't obviously actualize all those rights, but you are entitled to them, and you should be. We should protect whatever rights can be actualized.
Yeah,
so
but
at that point in time, it'd be just the right to life.
Yeah, but to like circle back to your first claim that I would have to apply this same logic in order to stay logically consistent to people that are alive. Again, if you find yourself saying things like you would have to do this, it's just you're just guessing on my view. So I would like to be asked those questions because I think, of course, I value somebody's individual personhood, and if somebody is not attached to any other body, I think they have rights, and I don't think you should be able to neglect a baby into their unalivement or AB them. Or
we went down this.
I meant DB them.
You guys, can we hold off for a second? Can we be very careful what we're saying so that we do not get restricted?
Yes. Sorry.
Thank you.
So we went down this route earlier. I don't think you're quite understanding. Like when I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but there's like, even if you don't necessarily believe things, you can't necessarily hold a stance and be logically consistent in that stance without having contradictions, right? And that's what the laws of logic are designed to do, is to point out contradictions in your own worldview, point out hypocrisies, and we all have them. It's very difficult to remain completely logically consistent. That's why there's all sorts of pretty much either stance, especially on this one where you have to balance out two people's rights. There's very unaesthetic hills, or at least somewhat unaesthetic hills, depending on your viewpoint.
Yeah.
That you have to unalive on, And so I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm saying that in order to be logically consistent, this would logically follow. In regards to this, if we were to apply this, but we can just go back to personhood.
I hate to do meta, but I was listening back to our, because I like when I'm debating, I like record these for like I have a YouTube channel that I'm starting or whatever. But I was listening back to our debate to see if I like made any like bad arguments or something. And once I left the call, you had said at least that guy was logically consistent. So it seems, if we're talking about contradictions, then you will have contradicted yourself, right?
Well, maybe I did to some degree. I think you are remaining somewhat logically consistent. But I also would say, if we are to say that suffering is the key factor here, right, it tells me that there's something that's more important. Because if you're saying, well, because this person might suffer, therefore we can unalive them, well, that applies to a whole range of people. Anybody who might suffer. So that tells me it's got to be the core issue here. If you wouldn't apply it to these other people, the core issue must be something else, and that would be the personhood of this being. You believe that they don't have personhood, so we can focus on that. I asked you, why does sentience matter? And so you said because that's because if not, they can't experience things. I understand. That's what sentience is. I know what sentience is. But what I'm asking you is, why does that matter?
Sentience matters because I value well-being, and I don't value suffering. And for something to have sentience, I value its ability to pursue well-being if it wants, and to avoid suffering if it wants. And if
that
something
doesn't logically follow.
Well,
okay, you guys, stop. You guys, we're gonna stop for a second. We're gonna pause and let Maddie talk because she was here for a really long time, and
True.
I kept telling her to be quiet because we love her and we agree with her for the most part. And so I'm going to give her the space to speak.
For the most part, what?
Oh, bro, you got lucky on this
I
one.
know.
Right here. You got lucky.
I dodged another one. I dodged another ammunition there. Whew.
Listen,
For real.
Maddie, I made you a mod. Did you even notice I made you a mod?
No, I didn't, girl.
Hey,
I'm like half
Warrior,
asleep.
our day will
Oh, I
come,
feel
okay?
you.
It's just
Okay,
not this day.
let's let Maddie talk. For
Who am I speaking to?
Me.
whoever you want.
I want to know what you don't agree with, though, because you said you agree with
I agree with you. I agree with you.
You said for the most part, though.
Well, we have Zach here that is one of our mods as well that is very respectful and against our opinions.
Very
So
pro-choice, yeah.
you can talk to him and you will be respected and it'll be a good conversation.
Why do you like unaliving babies?
Yeah, so that's just to equivocate on unaliving and to equivocate on babies. So if we're not, like, on my view, it wouldn't be unaliving, right? And it wouldn't be a baby in the sense that it has a life worth living.
It is a baby. What are you talking about?
So, right, so when I say baby, I'm thinking of something that has, like, a subjective experience, and it's like something to be that thing. Obviously, I don't think that, like, an in utero, like, existence.
You do realize a baby in utero is just a form of. It is
It's a stage of development.
It's a stage of development. The same reason why a baby in utero is in a stage of development for it to be a human. A newborn baby is a stage of development, and then a toddler is a stage of development. A teenager is a stage of development. These are all stages of development.
Yeah, no, but I think
if you're talking about development, you need to make sure you're widening the spectrum and not using location.
Yeah, I'm not making an appeal to location. I'm saying that in some instances, when pro-lifers use the term baby, they're saying something more. Because I would agree that life begins at conception. I agree that it's a baby at conception. But I think when pro-lifers use the word baby sometimes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, they're trying to furnish some intrinsic value in the word baby, and I think that. Life begins at I think that life begins at conception, but I don't think that a life worth. Sorry, I was almost done. I think that life begins.
No, I wasn't. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I'm just like asking. Like I thought I was talking to you, but everybody keeps butting in.
No,
Guys, I'm pro-life. I got it. I promise.
So
it's Maddie and Zach that are talking right now, and that's it.
So to be clear,
I'm not gonna let y'all down.
I think that a life begins at conception, but I don't think a life worth living begins at conception.
So you're saying that your life is not worth living?
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, you just said that a life at conception is not worth living. You were at one point.
Yeah, and at that point, I would have said that my life wasn't worth living.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay.
Does that make sense?
What is your stance? Do you have a cutoff?
A cutoff for what?
Like, are you pro-choice on 9 months?
Oh yeah. So I think that you shouldn't be able to force someone to do an immoral action.
Wait, so you're pro-choice on 9 months?
That's right.
Oh, good God.
I think God's good. Yeah, He better be.
You think that's good, sweetheart?
No. What I think is.
So you're telling me I can be 8 months pregnant. I want to have a hot girl summer. I can unalive my child because I want to go have a hot girl summer.
It depends. Is 8 months before 9 months?
8 months it's considered liable. That's why I said 8 months.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go to 9 months. 9 months. Yeah, I'm about to pop. Whoopie boop.
Yeah.
I'm
So.
about to go poof.
No, but I was only asking that to say that if you ask me if I'm pro-choice all 9 months and then I say yes, to ask a scenario at 8 months is just to misunderstand my view.
Well, I can say 9 months. We can say 2 months, 3 months, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can go wherever number you want.
Yeah, I agree that we can, and that's why I'm saying that I don't think anybody should be forced to carry out an immoral action. And I think that there are people who think that having a child without the child's consent is an immoral action, and I'm one of those people. Do you think that everybody experiences suffering?
Who is suffering?
Everyone, right?
Because nobody was suffering whenever. I mean, I know damn fact I wasn't suffering when I laid in bed with my husband and conceived our child. I was enjoying it.
Have you never suffered?
You
Wait, just engage with me and don't guess. Just engage with what I'm saying.
I'm not guessing. It's just I just really don't feel like you actually know what you're actually talking about. So it's like I'm kind of just.
Well, but I agree that you might think that, but I think that between you and me, I have a better idea of what I'm saying than you do because I'm the one saying it. So if you can just engage with me, and we might reach an understanding.
Well, I also don't like engaging with people who are non-ethical.
Right, but that's just to equivocate on unethical right there, right?
I'm telling you right now why I'm not taking you seriously is because I think you're immoral.
Right, and when you say I think you're immoral there, that's just to say that there's not a fact of the matter.
Yes, that is my observation. That's
right.
An observation that I am making.
Yeah, so let's try and come to an understanding. I don't think that you should be able to force somebody to carry out an immoral action. Do you?
Well, nobody forced them to lay in bed to conceive that child. Now
was that supposed to be an answer to my question?
Yes, so you're saying that pregnancy shouldn't be forced to be carried. Well, let's start from the beginning of whenever a pregnancy starts. And a pregnancy starts whenever a man and woman lay in bed together.
I agree.
Nobody forced them to do that. So, therefore, man and woman need to deal with what comes after it. Because you can sit here and talk about oh my God, I can barely speak. I'm half asleep.
Contraception.
You can sit here and talk about birth control and condoms and yada yada this and that, but none of those are 100% effective.
Okay, so I don't know how we're talking about contraceptives right now.
Well, it's because you're jumping from point to point. I'm wanting to start from the very beginning, from whenever pregnancy starts.
I've been trying to get you to answer do people suffer for like 5 minutes?
When the mommy and the daddy love each other very much.
Maddie, do you think that in general everybody experiences suffering at some point in their life?
Absolutely, it's a part of human race.
Okay, so
do
you understand that if somebody thinks that bringing a being into existence that's going to experience suffering, if they think that's an immoral action, do you understand where they might be coming from there?
That's subjective.
You don't?
No.
So if somebody thinks that something's immoral, you think you should be able to force them to do it anyway?
Again, nobody's forcing
a
man and woman to lay down together.
Well, we're talking about a pregnancy. I'm not talking about whether
if you're going to talk about pregnancy, let's start from the very beginning. I'm not going to sit here and engage with you if you're just going to fucking jump from point to point to point and pivot.
Wait, why are we talking about romantic candles and adult time when we're talking about a fetus?
Because that is...
She ran away. She was so scared of my intellect.
I disconnected her, you guys. I'm sorry. She wasn't willing to have a respectful conversation.
Right? I thought that, but I said it like 3 times, and I didn't want to seem like biased or something.
Wait,
No.
I was not even having a respectful conversation.
Yo, Fire Lord, you're just not. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Am I tagged back in?
I gotta go. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, you probably should, bro. You probably should.
Yeah. So even if it's just a want, I think that the mother's want outweighs the unborn child's value.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
I know. So wait. Just to be clear, I know that you think it's crazy, and now you know that I don't think it's crazy. So let's try and understand each other.
Well, yeah. Because the thing is, you wouldn't apply that to any other human. So that's what I'm trying to do, is figure out why you believe these children that are in the womb are less valuable. But you saying it's sentience, but then you also say all 9 months. But sentience is deployed way before the 9-month mark. So this just is completely contradictory, first of all.
Well, no. So my argument is going to be underdetermined, right? So I believe, first of all, in the not being able to force somebody to do an immoral action. Second,
you guys, can you stop for a second, Maddie? I kicked you because you had absolutely no sense of respect with your debate. We can have the same side, but what we're not going to do is sit here and make people feel any type of way other than their beliefs. Like, you were being unwilling to listen or anything at all. It was just what you had to say, and that was it. And I am not going to have that in my debates. Thank you. Yeah, no, she was engaging, Fire Lord, but she was also attacking. And I am very, very, very pro-choice or pro-life. I'm sorry, not pro-choice.
It was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, sorry. I'm very pro-life, but she was not willing to listen. She wouldn't shut the F up.
And also, I'm not trying to pile on, but Maddie's saying, how was I being disrespectful? I think if we asked you, were you trying to disrespect me? I think you would have to honestly say yes, because you were like, you think that it's M-wording a baby, right? So I know that you think that my position is immoral.
Zach, I understand your position. I'm trying to talk to her on a different perspective right now. Maddie, I do know how debates work, and I have very, very, very different perspectives than Zach. I'm sorry. I have very different perspectives and beliefs than Zach. But I also know that when I'm debating with someone, I'm going to be quiet and let them speak when the time comes. And that's what was bothering me. So I'm sorry, but I'm not going to have that here.
So yeah, Warrior, so my position is going to be underdetermined. So I think that immoral act, allows it. Withdraw consent allows it. And then the not all humans are the same value in all contexts is just going to allow the other reasons, even if the thing is like sentient or something.
But wait, so I'm not understanding where you draw the line at, because if it's all 9 months, then it's really not about sentience. I don't understand why that matters, because these beings are already sentient. This is just completely illogical. It's not consistent in any way.
Look.
If it's all 9 months, this is a baby, dude.
Look.
These things are born.
Look.
And they're born at what, as early as 20 weeks, and they can live on life support. These things are sentient, and viable outside of the mother. But you're saying they can be unalived, and I just don't know. Like at that point, like if we're talking 9 months, all right. So let's go 8 months.
Wait, Warrior. Wait. Just really quick. If I could pass a law saying that for any time X. After time X, C-section should be performed to keep a viable human life preserved. I would pass that law, and I would persecute anybody who breaks that law. I just say that I'm pro-choice all 9 months just to cover like any crazy scenario. But if a person goes in at 8.5 months and says I want to unalive this thing, I think there should be a law in place that says a C-section will be performed and that baby will be put into foster care.
Okay, you guys, can you stop for a second? So, multiples of you are asking why I am a pro-lifer and I have a pro-choice moderator. Every single one of my moderators are pro-life except for Zach. And the reason that I have him here is because I want debates that are going to be very dual-sided, where we're going to shut up and listen to each other. And Zach has been very, very respectful. And he has shown respect to every single person that has come in here that has been pro-life. And he's not stopped anybody or cut over anybody that's pro-life. And you know what? We do have very different views. But what I'm doing by having him as a moderator is letting people know that I'm willing to listen to your side, even though I disagree, because that is what a debate is about. So if you have a problem with that, if you don't like it that I have a pro-choice moderator, then bye. Bye. All of my mods are pro-life, except for him. So I don't care what your opinion is. I will not have a debate panel where people don't feel like what they're saying is being heard. Because I'm not going to go onto a panel talking about transgender rights or anything like that and feel like it doesn't matter what I say because I'm not being heard regardless. That's a waste of my time. And any other pro-lifers or pro-choices that come up here deserve to feel like what they're saying is worth their time. And that's why Zach is here, and that's why he's one of my mods. He's my only pro-choice moderator. You guys can have your opinions. I don't care. I'm not changing it. So you can all just shoot You can all just get over it, or you can leave. That's how that is. Thank you. You guys can kind of continue.
Your turn, Warrior.
Yeah. So, so that's not an abortion. Early induction of labor, C-section is not an abortion. So, if you're willing to do that, then I'm just trying to narrow you down on like where you actually stand, right? And so, if we can outlaw those and exclude those, then you're cut off for lethal abortions. That's what I'm asking. We're not talking about abortion. I'm talking about lethal abortion. So are you saying as sentience, once the being is sentient, which would be around, I mean, we really don't know. Some say as early as 8 weeks, but, at least as early as 20 to 24 weeks is when sentience is capable of being deployed.
I would say that's the point where
cutoff for lethal abortions.
That's the point where I would ascribe the property of value. But that's not to say that the mother's value isn't worth more than the baby's value. I still think it would be. But I'm just saying sentience is sentience is the point where I consider that life valuable.
Okay. So
okay, can we give someone else a chance to talk? I'm sorry, you guys. I don't want to shut you off. Richard, do you want to have your say?
Yeah, I'm gonna drop down. Thanks for coming up, guys. Hey, right here, come by my live again. I'll talk to you more. I'm gonna grill the shit out of you, buddy. Just so you know.
Bring it on, brother.
Alright, dude. Y'all have a good night.
I think you guys are more friends than enemies, actually.
Yeah, I met that guy today, so.
Zach.
Richard, go ahead.
What's up, dude?
Zach. Okay, Zach. I'm not gonna be an attack mode or anything, but I'm gonna try to be respectful about this. But Zach, so you saying like, that it's immoral to force a child who's not asking to be in this world to come into this world. So the said woman who's about to do it should be able to AB.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Well, I understand that you're pro-life. Let's just do a thought experiment, right? Let's put yourself into the mind of somebody who, to their core, believes that suffering is wrong, and knows that if they let their body continue, like when you eat, you don't choose to digest food. You don't choose to breathe when you're sleeping, right? A human who knows that if they let their body continue to go through this biological process, there will be a being that exists that experiences suffering, and they don't know to what degree that will be. Can you understand what that person's thinking of when they come to that moral claim that bringing a being into existence that has the ability to experience suffering is wrong?
No.
Okay, I mean, I think you could if you tried hard enough, but
no.
Okay, so let's just see if that's consistent.
If they're starting to feel suffering emotionally or physically, there's therapy. There's doctors for that kind of thing. I mean, are you serious? Everybody's.
So let's just see. So medically assisted unaliving. Let's say that you develop some depression or something, and you're like in your 50s or 60s or whatever. You go to a doctor and you say, I want to be medically assisted in unaliving. And they go, okay, we don't want to give you this procedure right away just because I think some people will like find their way out of this depression. But if you still feel this way in a year and you've done this kind of therapy session and this regimen of mental health, if you still feel this way in a year, I think that you have a human right to discontinue your life. Do you think that should be legal?
Seriously?
Yeah, I really do think that. Yeah.
You just compared that to that.
No. That's not the analogous property here. I'll tell you what the analogous property is if when you answer.
I don't agree with assisted suicide. So.
Can you guys all share the live and like the live so we can maybe have some more people join us?
So
I would never agree with assisted unaliving ever.
What's the point of?
It is not legal in any state.
I know that it's not legal. I'm talking about my hopes and dreams. So
Wow.
what's
So you
Wow,
would do
really?
it. Wow. You would do it. So you agree? You want to alive yourself if you had a
no,
chance?
no, I love my life.
You just okay.
Well,
Just
but
let me
I'm
answer
also,
that.
I also don't have the ability to get pregnant, but I care about pro-choice. I'm also not trans, but I care about arguing for the advocacy of trans people. So just to
So
say,
you're so you're speaking figurative terms.
just to say that you don't fit in some set doesn't mean you can't have values that align with some set of people, right?
So you speak in figurative terms.
Nope. I really do care about these things. It's not figurative.
Okay, but you're not speaking in you're not speaking as yourself. Fine, you're speaking in third person terms.
I mean, so are you when you argue pro-life.
So
So wait. Just to say so means that it's not important whether you align with the beliefs that they're arguing for. I
well, I
think that
don't.
if
I don't think
my
you're
life
wrong.
got to a certain degree of I think that if I have a right to life, I should have a right to death, and I
Everyone
think that everybody should.
pause for a second. Can we all, I will too as well, share the live and like the live so that we can have more people join for the debate, because right now I feel like it's Jack against all of us.
I don't know if I want to do that to your live because it'll be shadow banana your live. If I'm in the box and I'm tapping.
Okay, sure, yeah. Anyways, everyone else, we can share. Just share,
You
copy,
can get
paste.
the host, or you can share.
Please don't gift me.
You guys
Just
agree with
share.
the right to life, but not a right to death?
Wait, what was that question?
You guys agree with a right to life, but disagree with a right to death?
Well, I agree that a right for the baby to live. Yeah. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Do you agree that people have the right to life?
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yeah. What?
Do you agree that people have the right to death?
Are you talking about assisted unaliving?
I'm talking about if you agree if people have the right to die.
I don't agree that people have the right to are you talking about if they're suffering?
Subject, though.
If they're suffering?
Even if they just wanna.
If they just want to, that's kind of insane to me.
Okay, but I mean I agree to some sense it's not intuitive to me either. But if somebody's just if somebody just gave it their shot and they're just done they had a good one, they want to just check out. I don't understand what's wrong with that.
Because they got some problems in their head if they're just because they want if they're not depressed and if they're not emotionally if they're emotionally there and they're still doing it, it makes no sense to me why they would do that just because.
You think that no person who's been like relatively mentally healthy has ever wanted to not be around?
I'm sure it's a rarity.
Yeah. No, I'm not. So I'm not saying that it's common. I'm just saying that that it happens and to like.
And why would you bring up something that's like so off the topic?
Well, I think it's on topic because I'm saying you shouldn't be able to force somebody to do an immoral action, and I'm saying that to like for consistency's sake, I think that there are people who, if they're dissatisfied with their quality of life, should be able to through some quality of regimen, choose to not participate.
Okay, so what's that got to do with unaliving a baby?
What it has to do with unaliving a baby is that I don't think that all humans have the same value in all circumstances. And if somebody thinks that something is immoral, I don't think you should be able to force a person to do that thing.
But the baby is a human being.
I agree.
Okay.
It is more immoral to harm that child than it is to allow it to grow and find a loving family for it.
I agree that you think that, and I agree that people don't think that. I think that there are people, and I'm one of them, that think that bringing a baby to existence is not a morally good thing.
Then there are actions you take at the time of conception to keep that from happening.
Yeah, no, and I agree. People should try and do those things.
Huh? I think women should just have to stop having babies.
No, I think people that want to have babies should have babies, and people that don't want to have babies shouldn't have to.
So how many choices are there for somebody who doesn't want to have a baby to not have a baby?
Yeah, they could remove the baby.
No. That life is there, and that life has its own individual and unique
Right. So if someone doesn't want to have
own body.
if somebody doesn't want to have a baby, they could either not have schmex. They could also be on birth control. They could use schmondoms. They could also track their ovulation. They could also be abstinent completely in all ways, shapes, or form. They could talk to their doctor about family care planning. They could use the Plan B pill that abolitionists also do not consider abortion.
Yeah, so hopefully
so many options.
yeah, and hopefully you guys don't think that you're informing me of these options. Like obviously I know about these things and yet I'm pro-choice anyway.
Was it you I was responding to? I don't know who I was responding to, but
Zach, how many hours a month is a woman able to get pregnant?
I don't know. I think it's irrelevant though.
No, it is very.
No, it doesn't matter. No. You can't hold that because literally 24/7 at any point in time, a woman can get pregnant.
You got 12 to 24 hours within a month cycle.
You're wrong.
And within 3 days.
Dude, let's say, but Dragon.
Years as a medical practitioner doing this.
Dragon.
Me wrong?
Let me just say, even if it was they can only get pregnant for 1 second out of a year, I would still be pro-choice. Oh, that's just so lame, right? People get somebody that disagrees with them but has the same position, and then they just leave.
No, I agreed with them 100%, but women can get pregnant at any point in time through the entire month.
I know, and he said, "Oh, you don't believe me that I'm right and you're wrong? Okay, good night. I'm leaving." That's just so lame.
There is definitely times in the month where it is more likely to happen, but a woman can get pregnant literally in the middle of their period.
Yeah, I agree, and I was even going to be charitable to him. Like, if you want to say they can get pregnant 24/7, I'm still pro-choice. If you want to say they can only get pregnant for 1 second out of a year, and they just so happen to get pied at that time, then I'm still pro-choice. I don't even understand how that's relevant. That's why, yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. And I agree. I think we're eye to eye on that one.
How many willing and worthy debaters have fallen at the hands of my argument? I'm just kidding.
No, it's not you. I think people are going offline, but also I just think that you are super respectful in your argument. And I'm also kicking a lot of people because they're talking nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian. So for me,
you want to talk about that?
I mean, yeah, we can talk about Jesus all day.
Yeah, let's do it. I was a Christian before.
Before, or you're not anymore?
No, I'm an atheist for sure.
Okay. Oh shit! I dropped my phone. Why are you an atheist now?
I don't think there are any good reasons to believe in a God.
I don't think that's really atheist.
Oh, are you saying that? Are you taking the Richard? Are you taking the distinction between an atheist that just suspends belief and then an atheist that says I believe that I know that there are no gods?
No, here, check this out. Okay. Let's say you believe. Let's hypothetically say you believe, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you just can't stand the way that you think that God treated us because there's these wars and then there's raping and there's murder and all that.
Yeah.
And why would there be a God that lets all that happen? How about that? What do you think about that?
Oh, that's largely a reason why I am atheist, and that's largely one of the arguments.
But that's not saying that there's no God. That you're just saying that you believe there's a God, but you just hate God.
Oh, right. So let's say that in this conversation, Richard, you convinced me that the Christian God was true. I would no longer be an atheist, but I would not be a Christian. I would believe that the Christian God exists. I would not worship him.
Okay, so let's say that.
Yeah.
Okay, but hey, let's have that conversation. Okay.
Okay.
You're saying that God is a God of hate, right? But it's not. I believe. Okay.
Wait, real quick. I'm not interrupting for no reason. You said that I believe that God is a God of hate. I don't know if you just guessed that but you didn't ask me that for sure.
Okay. No. I'm just I'm just going off of whatever, just whatever. Okay, I'm just saying, generally, people in your situations. I'm saying, like, people would say that, you know, because there's been wars, there's been raping, there's been all these things, like you know, CANCER, you know, people, like kids dying of that, or unaliving of that
because of the fall.
And, well, you know what? There's free. That's called free will, free agency, free choice. However you want to say that. He gave us free will. It's not a perfect world. It's not God who unalived us. It's not God who took it.
Sorry, Richard. I don't want to cut you off, but Fire Lord, can you say again why you don't believe in God?
Me?
Yeah, like what you said. You said you used to have a very deep connection with the Lord. What happened that you don't?
So like I like went to church. I like asked some questions about biblical passages. And not answering is fine, or saying I don't know is fine, but I didn't get those answers, and I got pulled aside and told like to stop asking questions, and that just made me want to dig more into scripture. And then, yeah.
So, you, like a pastor, like a youth pastor or an adult group leader pulled you aside and told you to basically like shut up.
Yeah. But I mean,
I'm really sorry that happened to you.
But that was people.
Yeah, that's people. That's not the Lord. I think for me personally, I love Jesus, and I don't go to church on Sundays right now because I love God, but I know that God hates religion, and I think that's a
bold
big
claim.
thing. It is a bold point. God hates religion. He doesn't want us to be religious. He wants us to just love him. And as a Christian, that was something I really had to overcome because I was constantly like, hey, God, my Christian friends are doing this. My Christian family is doing this. And these are things that I've learned growing up in the Christian church. And I had to come to a point where I was like willing to listen to him and not what the people around me were saying. And that's when he was like, hey, Abby, I love you, but I hate religion. So can you stop leaning on a religion and can you just lean on me?
You're talking about like special revelation?
That was my revelation, yeah. And I don't go to church on Sundays. Sometimes I do feel like I want to because I think community is important. But I think my relationship with the Lord is more important than community is. So I came to that revelation and I was basically like, you know what, Lord? I love you more than I care about how religion is going to be to me or how the church is going to be to me. And that is what I based everything off of.
So just to do like really quick meta and then we can get back to it. I was saying this to a warrior in our debate earlier. I think that when pro-lifers and pro-choicers talk, a lot of the times it's just you say your side, I say my side, and then we throw hypotheticals back and forth at each other. I think that if the goal is to convince somebody else of your position, you have to do an internal critique of their worldview. And you have to take the views that they are committed to and walk them down to saying, okay, because you're committed to these views, you should expect to see something like this. And if they find that conclusion to be repulsive, that might be motivating for them to change their belief, right? Just in the same way, if I'm talking to somebody who's a God believer, I'm just going to, for me to say, like, God doesn't exist, it's just to not engage with you guys, right? So I would just say, you think God is this way, you think God is this way, okay, we would expect to see something like this. And if we don't see something like this, it's either, why is it the case that you hold that belief, despite the lack of evidence that you think should be there, or, it might be motivating for you to change your belief.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And I'm not trying to make you change your belief at all.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's up to you and yourself. I'm just telling you what my story is, and from what I have encountered in my own testimony and myself was basically God hates religion just as much as I do.
Do you guys think that God can fail?
I don't think God can fail, but I do think that we can fail listening to him.
And then Richard, you said a free will defense earlier. You said you think God's all evil, but God made free will, right?
Yes, he made. No, I didn't say he was evil.
Oh, right. You said that people think God is evil, but really it's free will, right?
Yes.
Do you think God can fail?
No.
Do you think that God's goal was to create two beings that freely chose to do the good?
What do you mean?
Like when God's creating Adam and Eve, do you think that God's goal was to create two beings that freely chose to do the good?
I'm sure he, there's going to be perfect until that happened. I mean,
Wait, don't try and guess where I'm going. Just, do you think that his goal was to create two beings that freely chose to do the good?
God knows all. So, yeah.
Okay. And so you would say that God...
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
I think that the Lord created people in his image, and his entire intent from the beginning was free will and choice. And he just, I think God loved us enough in the beginning to expect our choice to always be perfect. And then he realized, because I'm not saying God's not perfect, but I do think that his interpretation and love of us is beyond what we can reach sometimes. And I think he just thought, hey, these people were made in my image, and that makes them perfect. And then Eve went and didn't do that. Yeah, go ahead.
I understand, like, from a humanities perspective. I'm talking about creation. So with Adam and Eve, do you think God's goal was to create two beings that freely chose to do the good?
Yes.
I do think that he created beings to do good, yes.
Okay, so would you agree, if that was God's goal, he failed at that goal?
I don't think he failed. I think that we failed as humans.
Right, but so if God's goal was to create two beings that chose the good, and he created two beings, and one of them didn't choose the good, he failed in that goal, right?
It wasn't his failure.
I think that the Lord created us in his image with what he intended for us to do, and gave us free will. And with that free will that he gave us was perfection. And then Eve failed him.
Is it better that we have free will?
I think it is better.
So
Yes.
let's imagine two worlds. Let's imagine the first world is exactly like this one. And let's imagine that the second world is exactly like this one, except for all the choices that we make are between competing goods. Something like the choice between chocolate and vanilla ice cream. It doesn't hold any moral significance. We just have infinitely many choices between competing good actions. Which one of those do you think is the better world?
The world we have now.
You think, okay. And then Richard, would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that that God, right? Do you think that God values? Jesus. Yeah. So, do you think that
God is Jesus? But yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that prior to creation, let's say that God exists and God exists alone, and he's choosing which world to create. We agree that because he's all good, all knowing, and all powerful, he would choose to actualize the best possible world.
No.
Richard, do you agree?
He would want to create a world where people are fulfilled in their own happiness because he loves us for who we are, and he wants us to choose them, but he wants us to be happy first.
Richard, do you agree that God's aim would not be to create the best of all possible worlds?
No, those all exist at the same time.
Yeah, like, are you talking about like a multiverse thing or something?
That you're thinking of.
Say that again, Enrique. Sorry.
Possibilities and stuff like that.
Enrique, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You got to go a little bit closer to your mic, I think.
Okay, right here.
Yeah.
I'm saying God created all those different possibilities and timelines.
Okay, I mean that's a pretty radical view. Okay, so let's say that God did actualize all of those worlds, right? Do you think that all of those worlds that God actualized are equally good?
No.
So you think there's a better world than this one?
No.
Okay, so they are all equally
Heaven's
good.
a better world.
I think the only world that's better than ours is heaven. And you know what? Heaven actually was made to be on earth. I don't think there is a world better than ours. I think that
Do you think there's free will in heaven?
no, I don't think there's any will in heaven. I don't think there's any want or
Do you think-
need in heaven.
Do you think God
So
has
we're
free
not
will?
gonna. Do I think God has free will? Of course. No, God has free will, but He's perfect in His choices.
Can God choose to do evil?
If God wanted to do evil, He definitely could. He's
No,
been given
come
every
on.
trial and tribulation that we were since birth.
Okay, so that's just going to lead to the Euthyphro dilemma. So, are things good because God does them, or does God do good things compared to some outside standard of the good?
God does good things because God is good.
Okay,
It doesn't matter what the circumstances are.
so this is going to be like an emotionally driven hypothetical, but
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm all ears.
if God chose to munch on babies' cerebrals for fun, that would be good.
No.
I agree. Abby, do you think that would be good?
But God wouldn't choose to do that.
No. It's not whether he would or not. If he did choose to that, would that be good?
Obviously not.
Okay, so then it seems like when we say good, things aren't good because God does them. God does good things compared to some outside standard of the good.
Right. God does good things because God is good.
Yeah, but it's not the case that if God did anything, that thing would be good, right?
Right. No, not at all.
Okay, so then God's not the arbiter of morality.
No, He's not. The Bible is.
Wait.
That's why He has professors, and that's why He has that's why He has people writing the Bible for Him that has His word and His life and the tribulations that He's come through, and them sharing their own testimonies that share what good looks like. That's why we are given in our hearts, in our mind, and our soul the deception and willingness to understand good and evil from each other. Those are all gifts from God. They really are.
Richard, what do you gotta say?
God follows Scripture.
Well, how did God follow Scripture before Scripture?
Because God knows what it is.
Okay, so he doesn't follow Scripture.
What?
He does follow it because He is also part of it.
So God revealed that he's all-knowing. Is that right?
He's the ghostwriter of the Bible right here.
I know that.
It's not even God Himself. It's the Lord.
So the Lord revealed that he's all-knowing. Is that right?
The Lord is God.
I know that.
Jesus is Lord.
I know Jesus is the Lord, fully man, fully God.
Okay.
So
if you know all these things, then you okay, listen. You do know the definition of atheist, right?
yeah. Well, I know the way that I use the term. I don't know what the definition means right there. But.
No, I really enjoy Zach's questions, actually.
You don't believe.
Yeah, I'm not angry about him or anything.
I don't. So I would say that I'm an agnostic atheist. I don't know whether or not there's a God, and I don't hold a God belief of any God.
That's agnostic.
I just said I'm an agnostic atheist. That I don't know.
You just said that.
Yeah.
How can you be both?
Because
agnostic atheist. That's what he said.
Agnostic means not knowledge, and atheist means not God. So agnostic is a knowledge claim. Atheist is a belief claim.
Anyways, Zach, I'd love for you to keep questioning me because I will challenge you all night on Jesus because I love Jesus more than anybody in my life.
Yes. So God. Wait, Richard. I don't think that was the end of your question.
What?
You asked me if I know all this, why am I an atheist or something? Was that the end of your question?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. You guys can keep talking.
Well, I just know that that's what the Bible teaches. I'm not saying I know that as in I hold that belief. I'm just saying like...
Right, you're just asking questions.
Yeah. So, God revealed that he's all-knowing. Is that right?
Yeah, I do think God is all-knowing.
Okay, and God revealed that he's all-powerful. Is that right?
He is all-powerful.
Okay, and God revealed that he's all good. Is that right?
He is all good.
Okay, so my question... How is it that an all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good being could exist in a world where there's any evil at all?
this is, you know what, the Lord, like I said, he gives us the freedom of choice. And although he's all-knowing and all-good and all-powerful, he loves us so abundantly that he wants us to have choice. And
Is it better that we have choice?
It is.
He's the one that intervenes.
By God's lights?
He does not intervene. He does not intervene. Richard, I'm sorry, but he doesn't know.
I mean, no. Okay. He does when we pray. He does intervene.
In certain ways, but not the way that I think that Zach is asking for. No, I do think it's better that we have choice, because choice teaches us love. You cannot love somebody without choosing to love them.
So
Choice teaches us discipline. You cannot be disciplined without having the choice to do good. Choice teaches us understanding. Both of you!
So
Choice teaches us how to parent our children when we want to smack them across their face, but we love them anyways. Hold on, I need a pause.
yeah.
Okay. God is all powerful and all loving, and you know, bad things happen every single day.
So my question, I guess, is, could God have made a world where people are automatically imbued with the knowledge of discipline, automatically imbued with the knowledge of love, automatically imbued with the ability to choose the good always, right? They can do good, they can do evil. God could make a world where everybody just so happens to choose to do the good thing and never does evil.
Yeah, and that is what God intended us to be before Eve sinned.
What's up, Enrique?
I think he has created that.
Okay, so you think this is the best of all possible worlds?
No. I said he has created it, and it's called heaven.
Oh, okay. Yeah, does free will exist in heaven?
This world that we live on is one of his creations.
Yeah, this life is like dirty rags.
And it's his creation.
Yeah. No, I'm just quoting the Bible. So
I just want to say, when the Lord created Earth, he created the Garden of Eden and Earth to be one. Like, Earth and heaven, they were meant to be like a wife and or husband and wife as one. He created Earth to be perfect and whimsical in all of the ways, and then Satan slithered his way in, and he was like, "Hey, God, I'm a lot more powerful than you," and then God was like, "Okay, sure, prove it." And then Satan was like, "Okay, yeah, bet." And he got Eve to eat the apple, or whatever it was.
Do you think God knew that Satan was doing that?
I think he knew what was going on.
Do you think he could have stopped him?
I think he could have, but I think he wanted us to choose regardless.
So you know what Eve ate the fruit of, right? Eve ate the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So the question is, how, if Eve had no concept of what good is, no concept of what evil is, how could Eve have known that she was partaking in an immoral action?
So the Lord said, "Do not eat from this tree."
Yeah, but they don't. But they didn't know that following the Lord's advice was good or following the Lord's advice was evil, because they didn't know what those were.
You guys, shut up!
It just led to corruption.
Sorry, my kids are super.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Do you think that God's goal was to create a world where it was eventually corrupted?
I can't say he because I say God.
Yeah.
God led many worlds, not just our own world here. There's multiple worlds.
Let's just talk about this one then. Do you think that with this world, do you think that God's goal was to have corruption ultimately?
No. So here's what happened. The Lord created Earth, and then Satan wanted to contest him, and God said, "You know what? Do it." And so Satan and the other fallen angels came down, and God said, "Hey, this is the tree of good and evil. This is everything that you cannot have." Everything you will want, you cannot have it though. Everything you will crave, but you cannot have it.
Yeah.
Everything that you think is what is the best for you, you cannot have it. And my one task for you is to reject this, right?
Yeah, but they wouldn't know whether that was a good or a wrong thing.
No, well, if you say something like that to somebody, anybody, if you cannot have it, you cannot have it, you cannot have it, you know it's not good, right?
No, they don't actually, because they didn't have the knowledge of what was good to do and what was bad to do. They didn't know that heeding the instruction of the all-knowing God was good, because they didn't know what good was.
Well, you're right, but they did know what right from wrong was.
No, they didn't, because that's what they got when they ate from the tree, the knowledge of what is right and wrong.
The knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
Not right from wrong.
I mean, that's just to equivocate. What do you mean by right and wrong if not good and evil?
So the Lord, when He created
something that would
us,
hurt them, something that wouldn't hurt them.
when the
But
Lord
they
created us-
didn't know that hurt was evil. They didn't know that hurting was evil.
Can I talk for a second? So He gave us the knowledge of right from wrong for our own safety, and Genesis talks about this. It's right and wrong in very minimalistic ways, like don't touch the thorn bush because it's gonna poke you and hurt you, and don't put your head underwater because you won't be able to breathe. Right from wrong type of things, very minimalistically like that.
So do you wait? Do you think, right, that if Adam and Eve heard something from God, they had an intuition that they needed to obey that thing?
I think learning right from wrong, saying, hey, this is going to hurt you, is what God gave us the ability to understand at that time, yes.
Okay, so my question to you...
Genesis talks about that.
Yeah, so my question to you is, if you're familiar with Genesis, this should be a slam dunk question, right? Did God tell Adam not to eat of the tree, or Eve to not eat of the tree, or both to not eat of the tree?
So God told Eve not to eat of the tree, and then Eve was supposed to tell Adam, and Eve fell into temptation.
So that's in Genesis 2, right? Genesis 1, what does Genesis 1 say about that?
Genesis 1 actually doesn't really talk about anything other than how they're created.
Genesis 1 says that God told Adam. Genesis 1 says God told Adam not to eat of the tree, and he was supposed to tell Eve not to eat of the tree, but he didn't. And the serpent got to eat Eve first.
You're right. I was thinking backwards.
No, you're not. You're not thinking backwards. In Genesis 1, it said God told Adam and didn't tell Eve, and in Genesis 2, it said God told Eve and didn't tell Adam.
Okay, so you're right.
Yeah, that's why there are two accounts of creation.
Right. So Adam.
What do you think about that?
And Eve. No, and you know what I think is that sin came in a spot. It doesn't matter who God told first. What matters is that.
Do you think God's goal was to let sin in?
No.
Do you think He failed in that goal?
I don't think that God failed. I think that.
Do you think God could have stopped sin from coming in?
I think that God created us in His image and with the strength.
I know that you think that.
He's given us, and I think that He could not have stopped it.
You don't think God could have stopped sin from coming in?
I don't think it was in. I think He could have ability-wise.
Yeah.
But I think that He loved us enough to continue to let us have choices.
Okay, then what does it mean to say sin is wrong? If God had the ability to stop it but didn't want to? What does it mean to say that sin is evil?
I mean, He's given us those.
No. This is a more fundamental question that, listen, God is all good and all-knowing and all-powerful. And you said He knew that sin was going to enter. You said it wasn't His goal for sin to enter. His goal was to keep it out. And He had the ability to, but He chose not to. What does it mean under those construals of the concepts to say that sin is wrong or evil?
It means that He chose to love us enough for us to have choice.
And you think that us having choice is better if we can choose to do evil rather than us having no choice to where we can only do good?
Absolutely, yes.
And what ways are you cashing out the words good and evil there to where you can make it to where a world where only good things happen but there are no free will is worse than a world where free actions happen and infant grape happens.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? My kids are in my ears.
Yeah, you said that a world with free will is always going to be better than a world without, and I'm saying how are you cashing out good and bad there to where world 1, people don't have free will but only good things happen. That world is worse than world 2, a world where people have free will and infant grape happens.
Would you rather be a robot with no choice of what you're doing?
If my goal was to create the best possible world and that world was actualized by me having robots that did good things, yeah, I would.
So what you're choosing is a world without empathy, a world without
So could God have created a world of robots with empathy that only did good?
No, I wasn't done. You're talking about a world without empathy. You're talking about a world without challenges. You're talking about a world without learning. You're talking about a world without any type of testimonies or overcomings. You're talking about a world where everybody has the same experiences. That is not a world I want to live in, and that is not the world that God gave us.
Do you remember in like earlier conversations where you said that it felt like when people were talking to me, they weren't listening, they weren't engaging with what I was saying, and they were just going off on their own thing?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Are you feeling like I'm doing that?
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. I know it's like a very passionate subject, so I'll just try again. All those things you mentioned, right? We can't have this. We can't have X. We can't have Y. We can't have Z. Could God have created a world where there were people that didn't have free will?
God has created the world.
I know that you think that, Enrique. That's a radical view.
The world that He created for that purpose.
So in God, by God's lights, do you think that this world is better where infant grape can happen than world 2 that He created where infant grape can't happen because people don't have free will?
One is better than the other.
Huh?
I have a counter question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
What do you think that a world would look like in that perspective?
I think that people would have free will, and God would have made it to where there were no morally significant choices. So you can choose to loan your neighbor $5 or $10. You can choose to have chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream. You can choose to donate to charity once a year or 6 times a year. You can choose to do these good things or these good things. And people could have free will, and there wouldn't be evil. That's what I think it would look like.
So everything that you're explaining requires free will, right?
Nope.
Did you not say free will?
Well, yeah, but it doesn't require free will. God could have also made a world where we're just His little robots that always do good, right? And that world would have no evil in it. That's right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if God's goal was to create a world without evil, since He's all good, why give us free will if that leads to things that are morally reprehensible?
Right, so what would your ideal world look like then?
Yeah, so whether I can answer that question or not is irrelevant, but I will answer the question. That world would just look like a world where either agents have the choice between only competing goods, or a world where agents don't have free will and are just determined to do good things.
Is that what you want?
What I would want indexed to the goal of having a world without evil, yeah, either of those two options would be a better world than these two options. World 1, free will happens and morally reprehensible stuff happens, or world 2, free will doesn't exist and people are determined to do morally reprehensible things. Yeah, the first two worlds would be better than the second two worlds if my goal was to create a world with no evil.
So you would just rather all of us live in a world that we have no say, we just have to agree to it because it's morally correct?
That's the second good world that I suggested. Yeah, but the first one was people still have free will, but God just made it to where the only choices were between competing goods.
What is competing goods to you?
So yeah, you can choose to like loan your neighbor $1 or $5, but you can't choose to steal from your neighbor. You can choose to donate to charity 1 time or 10 times, but you can't choose to burn down a charity. He could have just made it such to where we couldn't think of these ideas, and it just wouldn't be.
So at some point, if we're not all choosing to donate or help out or whatever, you don't think any of us deserve to get angry or upset when our other neighbors are choosing to do less than we are?
Yeah, God could have created a world in which we didn't have the ability to get angry. Yeah.
So you don't want to be able to get angry?
I think that if anybody asked, a world with no anger would just be a better world simplicator.
Do you really think that, or are you just saying that because it fits your
No,
argument?
no. Well, do you think that if nobody ever got angry, do you think that like the world would be better?
No.
Okay.
I think I wouldn't learn if people in my life got angry at me.
Yeah, but the thing is that God could have created a world without anger and with the ability to learn. We're not talking about our powers. We're talking about God's powers.
So what's going to give us the ability to learn without anger? The ability
God.
to understand each other without...
Can I step in here?
God.
So how is God going to give us the ability to...
Can I step in or not?
Example? No, Enriquez, no. I'm sorry. If I have a really rocky relationship with my mom, right, and I'm trying to fix it, how is my ability to not get angry at her going to help me learn how to love her better, how to understand her better, if we do not have those arguments that can bring us closer together? Anger is not a bad thing.
So, listen, that's just going to be begging the question against my view, and that's just to say that you're saying that in the instance where you get angry at your mom, you need to be able to resolve that anger, and that leads to a more understanding than you had before you got angry. Is that right?
Right. Well, I mean, me and my mom, when we have arguments, I think that we're both right and wrong on some circumstances, and we're both very valid the way that we feel.
But ultimately, you're closer together because you got that anger out. Is that what you're saying?
Because we were able to experience and learn from the anger that we had.
Okay. Do you think that God has the ability to make it to where you and your mother just have a perfect relationship for all time? Easily, the answer is yes.
I think that God gets angry at us.
Listen, God is all-knowing and all-good and all-powerful. Could that God make it to where you and your mother always loved each other, never argued, always were happy?
I think that if God did that to me, he didn't love me.
Listen, could God do that?
I think he could, but if he did, he didn't love me.
Could God do that and love you?
No.
So, but do you agree that your morals are flawed and God's morals are perfect?
Yes.
Okay, so do you at least agree that you could be wrong about the fact that he could do that and still love you, since your morals are flawed and his are perfect?
I mean, if that's how he was, yes, but how I know him is that he wants me to experience my emotions that he gifted me, and he's going to let me experience them and let me know why he gave them to me, because they're going to grow me and mold me into the person that I am, which is a very loving and empathetic person. And without my experiences that we all have, I would not be who I am today, and I would not have those emotions without him. And he has been willing to say, hey, Abby, hey, Zach, hey, Enrique, Bonnie, whoever's in this live, I love you enough that I want to give you this human experience because it is beyond anything that I can give you.
Okay, I think we need to take a step back, I guess, and then I'm gonna ask this a question to Enrique and Abby, both of you.
Okay.
Not even talking about the Christian God yet. Do you guys have any good reason or an argument to think that a mind created the universe?
A mind?
Yeah, like God's a mind, right?
What do you mean by mind? Can you explain to mind a little bit more?
Yeah, like a being capable of having a property set of knowledge or something.
No, God is just existence itself.
Yeah, I'm asking, do you have a reason to think that, or do you have an argument for that?
Existence.
Well, but obviously you wouldn't want to say that God is just existence, because I believe in existence. So there has to be some symmetry breaker or an argument.
I guess for me, I haven't really thought too deep on that. Get up here, you sassy.
Like from my worldview, I think that the universe is past eternal, right?
Oh, for sure. I think that the universe is past eternal, but in godly ways.
Wait, no, but you don't think the universe is past eternal?
The universe?
Yeah, you think God created the universe.
To be eternal.
Right, but no. So I'm saying that.
The existence of the universe is God.
Right, but God created the universe. So God created existence.
It's His existence.
Yeah. But you're not going to want to say that there was a time when, because creation implies that there was a moment before where it wasn't created. So to say that God is existence is just to say that at some point
there was nothing.
Huh?
And then God existed.
Right.
And then it became everything.
So that's just gonna, like, if you're saying God existed before time.
Yeah. I think God created time.
Yeah. So I think God created time is a contradiction. Because if you can think of it this way, what I think of time as just a rate of change, right? So there's this world where no change can happen, right?
Time is only something that we humans created.
I mean, we created ways to explain the phenomenon of time, but time exists without minds.
Yes, but we created it.
We didn't create time. I understand what you're trying to say, but we didn't.
A different.
That's like saying we didn't create, like, no, math or something. Math is a concept in a language used to explain phenomena. Right? Would you agree, Enrique?
Yes and no.
Okay, so like with, let's say that there are no minds in the universe. Do you think that 2 + 2 = 4 is true?
No.
Okay, we agree. Okay, cool.
There's multiple possibilities of 2 + 2.
Okay, yeah. But okay, so maybe that makes me think that we're not tracking. Okay, let's say that there are no minds in the universe. Do you think that 2 exists?
The number 2?
Yeah.
Exists because we created it.
I'm saying if no minds were in the universe, does the number 2 exist?
No.
Okay, we agree. So back to the time thing. What does it mean to say that God created time? It means that there was a state which could not undergo any change that changed. Does that make sense? We can't hear you, Abby.
I don't think God created time. I think God has just existed, and He created
the universe
everything beyond time.
So the universe, do you agree that the universe is just space and time combined?
Do you agree that the universe had to start somewhere?
I don't agree.
So you just think where do you think it came from then?
Well, I believe that the universe is past eternal.
Right. So where does eternal come from?
Well, that's just a misunderstanding infinity. So look, there's no problem with having an infinite chain of prior events, and there's also no problem with an infinite set having a starting point, and there's also no problem with an infinite set having an ending point, and there's not a problem with an infinite set having both a starting and an ending point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just asking you where you think eternal starts.
Well, okay, so that's just to misunderstand infinity. I think that there's an endless chain of antecedent conditions.
You think it starts?
Huh? Okay, so look, for any x where x is a moment of time, x minus 1 explains that, right? And you can just repeat that forever. For any instance of time x is explained by x minus 1, right?
Sure, I don't know math. All I know is God promises us eternal life.
What'd you say, Enrique?
I said, who created time?
Well, who created time just begs the question that time was created, which I don't believe.
Time is just a concept.
So you don't believe that time exists? You just think it's eternal no matter what?
No, I know that time exists. I just don't think it was created.
So where do you think it started?
So look, I understand. It's like infinity is very, very counterintuitive, but look, let's say that there are an endless chain of past events, right? That just means that it doesn't have a starting point.
No, but God promises us eternal life. Eternal.
But even if it has a negative value, it's still a starting point.
That's not correct. Not with an infinite set.
It is.
So look, Enrique, do you agree that there's no problem with an infinite set having an ending point?
There's no ending point.
Yeah. No. I'm saying, do you agree that there's not a problem that an infinite set can in fact have an ending point?
There is no ending point to it.
No. I'm saying there is, and I'm asking if you understand that. There can be, and I'm asking if you understand that. An infinite set can have an ending. Do you understand that?
But an infinite point cannot have an ending point.
So you just keep saying that?
It's the infinite.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm trying to teach. I can explain. I can demonstrate it if you want.
Let him speak.
So Enrique, an infinite set can have a starting point but no ending point. An infinite set can have an ending point but no starting point, and an infinite set can have neither a starting point nor an ending point, and an infinite set can have both a starting point and an ending point. Does that make sense? And if any of that doesn't make sense, I can explain it.
Well, the main thing I was thinking of is the negative point that I was saying is the starting point is the concept of us thinking that's our starting point.
You're gonna have to say that again. I don't understand.
The negative time that I'm trying to say is the starting point is us trying to comprehend a starting point.
So I agree that when we're thinking about if the universe is past eternal, there's going to be some like feeling that it's going to be unsatisfying to us if to know that an infinitely regressing past doesn't have a starting point, and that's going to be unsatisfying. What I'm simply saying that there's no like logical problem with an infinite past being the case. Like it doesn't contradict.
Right. And I'm just saying from our standpoint, we have a negative starting point, but it does continue on.
Yes, forever.
Beyond our comprehension.
Yes.
Comprehension.
Yeah. But that's not a problem because let's imagine that the universe is past eternal, right? But we're in the present time. So that means that no matter how long the chain of infinity goes, there's always going to be a finite unit of time that that starting point or infinite past is till today, right? It's always going to be a finite number of days or months or years or millennia.
Zach, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Only because we created that time frame.
Yeah, but the phenomena. Yeah, go ahead.
Zach, aside from this, can you close your eyes and imagine yourself passing away?
Yeah.
Like fully on. What do you think?
I don't.
Do you feel like it ends there?
That's what seems to be the case. Yeah.
You really feel like when your life ends, that's it. That's the end of it.
Yeah, I think that when my life ends, my life ends. Yeah, call me crazy.
And you know what? I'm not calling you crazy. I'm just saying.
I find comfort in the thought of like reincarnation or heaven, right? But the fact that we derive comfort from things isn't a good indicator on whether or not they're true. Like I could, like Jeffrey Schmommer or something found comfort in
Zach,
like.
Have you never felt the Lord in your life? I know you said you used to.
Yeah, I have.
You have.
Yeah, but not like. But I've learned since that the feelings that I was feeling can be derived from other sources. Like I just.
Like what?
Like the when I felt like elated and I felt like the chills or something and I felt like a real presence of the Lord with me. I've experienced that in like very deep enriching community work that I've done. I go to like see live music and I get the chills, and I just think that like these artists are speaking directly to me. Like it's human nature to seek those kinds of things.
Can I send you 2 different links to 2 different videos, and then can we start a live up? You watch them.
Right now,
I mean, we can watch. You can watch them, and we can start up a live tomorrow.
I'm just thinking, like if you feel that feeling though against from these artists that are singing
it's the Holy
playing
Spirit.
music, that is the Holy Spirit talking about it.
yeah,
Zach, can I send
You
you?
were ignoring it.
but you
I don't think he was
You're
ignoring
brushing
it.
it off to your side,
No.
saying it was something else.
wait.
I don't think he was ignoring it. At
Wait,
all.
yeah. So just to be clear, I did believe that there was a God, right? I don't believe now that there's a God, and I realized that I was mistaken. Just like I believe that you, Enrique, think that God created infinitely many universes, right? That to a Christian, like not like a non-denominational Christian or some other, like maybe a Calvinist or like, you know, they're gonna think that they're gonna think that view that you have, they're gonna think that view that you have is radical.
God created one
And
universe.
that's
Enrique's
fine,
wrong on
because
that.
God created all.
I know that God created all, but all could be one or two or many.
Anyways,
That's
Zach,
why I say
can I send you 2 videos, and then tomorrow we can talk about it again at the end of the night?
Yeah, but I would not get your hopes up.
No.
Yeah.
They're just kind of more giving you my perspective of where I'm coming from, because I'm not I would say I'm non-denominational, but I'm like a little bit more than that. Like, I have a hard time with the church in general. So these are just 2 videos that I think would open up really good conversations. I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm not expecting them to change your heart around, just to kind of give you examples of where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And then tomorrow night, we can
You
have
can also send us stuff too if you want,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, go ahead.
and we can see
Send
it
us stuff
and
and
review
we'll
it.
look over it.
Okay. Yeah. Real quick, can I give you guys my like best argument against the Christian God specifically? It's just two premises and a conclusion. Are you ready? Because you guys do think that the Christian God wants a relationship with all of His creation, right? He's revelatory.
No.
Enrique, do you think that? Do you think that Christian God is revelatory?
No.
Okay, then never mind. My argument doesn't apply to you guys. So not saying you guys are weird, but most Christians think that the thing that makes the Christian God special more than other gods is that He reveals Himself through nature, through special or general revelation, right?
No, my Christian God wants.
I see what you mean.
That want relationship with Him.
To me, that's the Holy Spirit talking.
Okay, so do you think the Holy Spirit talks to us, or like reveals that God exists, so that no man can say that God doesn't?
In a way.
Okay, so then maybe my argument will work on you, Enrique. You ready?
Out of the whole thing, I actually only experienced the Holy Spirit once in my life.
So this is my argument. If the Christian God exists, I would know it. Premise 2, I don't know it. Conclusion, the Christian God does not exist. Do you agree that if I'm not lying, that argument is valid and sound?
See, the problem I have with that statement is Christian.
If God exists, I would know it. I don't know it, therefore God doesn't exist.
No, I think if God exists, you have to believe and have faith in Him, and that's when you know that He exists, and He's not going to show Himself to you unless you have faith.
Right, and that's what I had the problem with when you said Christian, because like I don't think God is Christian, Catholic, etc., whatever. God is God. And all the people have been labeling Him, not Him, God, as a certain religion, just to get followers behind them.
Oh, Enrique, are you speaking on some notion that like God maybe like shared among a couple different religions? Like the notion that people are praying toward the same God, they just call him by a different name or something?
Yes.
Okay.
In a step back standpoint, yes.
Okay, that explains your like multiverse thing better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think we're talking on different gods.
Well, but from Enrique's point, you guys are talking about the same gods. You just think it's the Christian God, and he thinks it's just God.
Yeah, I think we have different gods.
well,
I'm
God.
following the Christian God.
But it's God.
Enrique, do you
The creator of life.
do you hold credence to the views of Christianity? Like when you want to
I do hold views towards Christianity.
Okay.
A lot more than I did when I was raised, and I learned a lot more about Catholic. And I can tell you right now, Catholic is horrible.
Okay, I'm gonna end this live, you guys.
Appreciate the combo, guys. Send me some stuff.
I'm gonna send you
Yeah.
those videos, and you can message us. You can message me anything,
All right.
and we'll start the conversation tomorrow night. Okay?
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Good night.
Yeah,
Bye.